What is up, guys? It's your boy Grandmaster Cacus, and today Grandmaster Nightfalls are back within Destiny 2 Season of the Witch, and the first one on offer is the Heist Battlegrounds Europa, which has been converted into a Nightfall. And just like the other Battlegrounds converted into Nightfalls, these tend to be on the more difficult side. But don't worry, I have a complete guide going over a bunch of tips for the strike itself, as well as some incredible loadouts for the Hunter, Warlock, and Titan. And guys, if you do overcome this challenge, as you can see, it's actually double Nightfall rewards this week. So let's get started here with those loadouts. And of course, the first thing to know is the important modifiers this week. So we do have all three shields, but you're going to be encountering Arc and Solar most often. The champions are going to be Barrier and Unstoppable. We also have Strand Surge and Arc Surge, as well as overcharged linear fusion rifles. So with that in mind, I played a Strand Berserker Titan. We've got Rally Barricade, Frenzied Blade, Shackle Grenades, and then for the aspects, we actually have Banner of War plus Dranger's Lash. Essentially, I took my Suspend Strand build, which is God tier in Grandmasters, and added Banner of War because I've been loving it this season. Now, you do miss out on Into the Fray, which is very good, giving you Woven Mail a lot, but I wanted to test how good Banner of War was up to Grandmasters, and it turned out it was pretty decent. Essentially, you just forget about the whole melee build aspect of Banner of War, and you rely on the occasional melee against Red Bar, or mainly finishers, to trigger Banner of War. And then remember, any sort of kills you get with normal weapons, rocket launchers, whatever, are going to keep Banner of War active. And I did find the healing and the team support of Banner of War was pretty darn good. Now, moving on from there, the fragments are going to be Thread of Mind, Thread of Wisdom, Thread of Continuity, and Thread of Warding. Again, we're mainly leaning into the Suspend part of it because we are using the Abeyant Leap. This is going to let your class ability shoot out 3 suspending blasts. It's unbelievably good. It gives you Woven Mail when you suspend targets. Like, honestly, a god tier PvE exotic. Now, after that, guys, in terms of the weaponry, I actually started with the Monte Carlo, but that really wasn't working out, so I did switch to the Quicksilver Storm. This is just such a good overall weapon. It's going to produce a ton of tangles, and that's actually going to matter. We'll talk about why in a sec. Then I've got a Techian Force. There is unstoppable fusion rifle rounds this season, and better make the most of it by using a cracked out fusion rifle. Then I've just got a god tier Hothead as my kind of DPS. Now moving on from there to the armor mods. For my helmet, I used Heavy Ammo Finder and Dynamo. However, I wish I was actually using something like Powerful Friends and then a Harmonic Siphon, considering how many kills I got with the Quicksilver Storm. Regardless, for my arms, I was using Momentum Transfer, Bolstering Detonation, and Heavy Handed. Then for the chest piece, we have the trifecta of resistances. Then for the legs, I've got Orbs of Restoration. I've got Elemental Charge for picking up tangles, and Recuperation is quite good. Then for the class item, I have, importantly, Utility Kickstart, so I can use that Suspend as much as possible, and then Reaper. Now, moving on from there, guys, to our Warlock, they were using a Voidwalker with Cataclysm, Healing Rift, Pocket Singularity, and importantly Vortex Grenade, because they are using Feed the Void and Chaos Accelerant as aspects. The fragments are going to be Echo of Undermining, Echo of Remnants, Echo of Instability, and Echo of Expulsion. However, you should swap out Instability if you're not using a Void weapon. My teammates started with one, and then we realized that you almost face no Void shields, so we switched to Solar, and he just forgot to change it. Now, as for the exotic featured, it's going to be the Controverse Hull. Just honestly a fantastic PvE exotic, allowing you to throw those overcharged void grenades so often. Incredible at ad clearing and weakening everything you throw those grenades at. Now, as for the weapons, we have the Riptide, again a god tier fusion rifle to make the most of unstopped fusions. Then we have the Amit AR2. Again, we started with Void, not many Void shields. There is quite a few Solar shields in the final boss room with the Wizards, so the Amit is a fantastic choice, craftable, incandescent, easy to acquire, pretty great weapon. And then a Galahorn. The other two of us are using rocket launchers, as you saw with me, so someone should be using Galahorn to massively improve the damage. Moving on from there, guys, as for the armor mods, for the Controverse, we have Grenade Kickstart as well as Firepower, just really leaning into those grenades. Then for the helmet, Radiant Light, Heavy Ammo Scout, and Heavy Ammo Finder, kind of a wombo. Then we have a Concussive Dampener and a couple of Elemental Resistances. Then for the legs, we do have Recuperation, we have Solar Scavenger, which is a good choice, and Stacks on Stacks. Moving on from there, for the Bond, we do have Powerful Attraction and 2 bombers. All right, now moving on to the Hunter we utilized. This is very important. I would highly recommend you have an invisibility Hunter, and we'll explain why as we go over the tips for the strike. But we have Mobius Quiver, we do have Gambler's Dodge, Snare Bomb, Vortex Grenade. The aspects are Trapper's Ambush and Vanishing Step, going all into invisibility. The fragments are going to be Echo of Cessation, Echo of Persistence, Echo of Obscurity, and Echo of Starvation. Now, the featured exotic, of course, is the Aeon Swift. If you're an invisible hunter, you throw these on, you can get easy finishers and produce heavy for your team. Very, very valuable. Now, as for the weaponry, we did have a Revision 0. This is just such a good weapon. I think it's underrated in Grandmasters. It outputs a ton of damage. It cranks champions. It's a great weapon. Moving on from there, we do have a Techian Force, again, making use of those unstopped fusions. Now, after that, guys, we're going to have another hothead for that DPS. Moving on to the armor mods here. So, for the Aeon Swift, we have a Bolstering Detonation and then a Kinetic Loader. For the helmet, we have a Kinetic Siphon, Heavy Ammo Scout, and Heavy Ammo Finder. For the chest piece, we have the Trifecta of Resistances. Then for the legs, we have an Arc Scavenger and then Stacks on Stacks. Now, for the class item, this is important. You want Reaper because we're using our class abilities so often. Then Proximity Ward to give you an overshield while you perform your finisher. Super, super good because sometimes your invisibility wears out and it can get you killed. This has come in clutch a lot. And then we also have a special finisher. This is another great one because if you're going and finishing champions anyways to produce heavy, it's nice to also be able to produce special at the same time. Alright guys, now the last thing I want to shout out is some useful artifact perks. So, of course, I was Strand, I'm throwing a lot of tangles, so I have anything that affects tangles like Communa pickups, refreshing pickups, and importantly, dude, Elemental Munitions was actually very, very good. You can see in the background gameplay, I triggered it actually quite a few times, and anytime you get even one more shot of rocket, that can make a huge difference in a Grandmaster. Now, after that, for survivability, Elemental Embrace is a good one, but remember about Rapid Fire Ranger, rapid precision hits against distant combatants? Well, hey, my teammate with the Revision 0 was using this and said it was fantastic. They were like, every champion I was shooting was weakened because of it, so that's another great one for Grandmasters. Now, moving on from there, guys, let's talk about tips for the strike itself. Now, you're going to start out in this open area. You got to watch out for the laser towers of death, and by far the easiest way to do this is to utilize an invisible hunter. So as you can see right here, smoke bombs us, we move up a little bit, kill the ads directly near us. Smoke bomb is back, we smoke bomb again and move all the way in, just completely avoiding all of the treachery within this opening part. Now, once you do get inside, another big tip, guys, go ham with your heavy weapons. And that's because there's a heavy ammo crate right here that will completely refill you. So don't be afraid to utilize your heavy liberally in this first area because, again, you just get it all back. Now, as we continue forward, nothing too crazy, just fighting your way through many enemies. Now, you are eventually going to get to this portion right here, and it kind of opens up into a wide open space, and anywhere you go, you're actually going to be shot at, so I would recommend kind of waiting a bit, picking some guys away from a distance, because as you can see, there's a lot of champions here, and 2 of the barrier champs are going to just kind of be right in front of you, so after you pick away some guys, go get that suspend grenade, absolutely melt them both quickly, as you can see right here. But moving on from there, you're going to get to this section right here where again we have some wide open spaces. Importantly guys, you have 2 unstopped champions down here. Make sure to deal with them from up here, completely out of the way and safe. I don't know why they're so far away, but hey, pretty free kills. And yet again, you actually have another heavy ammo chest that's down below, as you can see right here. So you can either go down to the chest or stay up above what my teammates did and just use your heavy weapons, any heavy ammo you have, absolutely yeet it out, especially at this Death Tongue Chorister right here. You want to kill this guy as quickly as possible, because if you do, then you don't have to deal with the shriekers and stuff like that. So once you expend your heavy, grab the heavy, and then you can just continue forward. Now, really importantly, guys, right here when you're avoiding the lasers, everything's good, right? Well, it turns out when you go to this final room, 2 barrier champions spawn right in front of you. We were in for the surprise of a lifetime here. Luckily, I had my suspend grenade ready to go, but oh my goodness, be aware of that, because that's going to end many runs out there. After that, you get to this section here, and I do want to say, make sure to kill all of the champions before you kill the 3 wizards, because it may despawn champions and then you miss out on that platinum rating. But once you've taken care of all these guys, and if you just kind of stay in this outer hallway, you can pick one down and then the next one and then the next one. It's really not too stressful. And remember, you can actually finish those wizards for heavy ammo, little tip there, but you're eventually going to fall down this chasm and make your way to this section here where you open up the final door. Now, this is actually kind of important because you do not need to go to the left. To the left is where all the enemies are. You might need to kill the one Boomer Knight because he's kind of shooting at you, but you can just head to the right and completely freely shoot this gunk off, and then just take this one object right here to shoot the Hive Ruins. And then remember, there's actually another one right above you. As you can see, just hop up to the top and there's the next one you need, and those 2 combined will be enough to completely open up the door. And it will lead to another heavy ammo crate. So during this part, don't be afraid to utilize your rockets or whatever on the ads, because again, as soon as you go into this hallway, you refill on heavy. And speaking of refilling, guys, you actually are also going to refill your super as soon as you interact with this console right here. So if you do have something like a well, if you are running that or whatever, then you can utilize it, and then someone interacts with this console to get it back instantly. But regardless, guys, you're going to want to hold out underneath in this area right here. Now, this is far from perfect, but it's the best you're going to get in this arena. This is a brutal arena for a Grandmaster, because enemies are going to spawn somewhat near you. As you can see, they are going to come underneath where you are, but the boss Shrieker can't get you, and most of the enemies are going to stick to the outside, and this is going to provide the greatest degree of cover, again, that you can possibly find in this boss arena. So from underneath here, once you've cleared out enough of the ads, then you can unleash a volley of rockets at the boss, and once the boss gets to half health, then they're going to become immune, and you have a different mechanic. So you're going to have to collect the arc orbs and deposit them. Here's the thing, guys. This is again why you really want an invisible hunter. They're going to be able to pick them up and plant them all while invisible. And very importantly, the spawns are going to be tied to every single time you plant an arc orb. So you want to clear out the ads, take down the fallen captain that has the arc orb, get the invisible hunter to plant it. If they don't plant it in time, no worries. Like if one despawns, another captain just spawns. It's no big deal, but you don't want to be trying to plant the orb while there's still a ton of wizards absolutely destroying you. So take it slow, one at a time. Every time you plant one, just get ready, like literally look at the spawn locations near you, because enemies are going to spawn. But once you do eventually do that enough times, I do believe there's one champion here as well, then the boss will become available to damage. Now importantly, this will spawn another champion. As you can see right here, like he's almost dead and a champion has appeared. So I would recommend maybe don't nuke this boss, from the get-go, because you could miss out on the platinum rating. Do a little bit of damage, find that champion and kill that champion, and then finish the boss off, and that will ensure that you've killed all the champions, you get that platinum rating, and you get that awesome 2x Nightfall loot. And I will say for this encounter specifically, with everyone kind of clumped together in this underneath section, Banner of War was actually quite good. Even on Grandmaster, because of Strand Surge, you can get a 1 melee kill, as you can see, against a Red Bar Acolyte, and that's all you need to start the chain, and then you just get other kills, and it's very easy to keep Banner of War up once you start it, or just, again, a random finisher on a wizard, whatever, and again, that's going to provide that healing in that enclosed area for everyone. Guys, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.